The use and special characteristics of German Modal Verben, modal verbs. In today's video, I will show you when you have to use which modal verb in German. So I will show you when it's actually just like in English and when it's very different from English. And I will also show you the one special thing that modal verbs have when you conjugate them in present tense. Hi, my name is Jan and I'm your German teacher here on EasyDeutsch, your YouTube channel for German grammar. Today's topic is modal verbs. And in this video, I will show you with the help of my ebook when you have to use which modal verb. And I will show you that in first and third person singular, actually all modal verbs are always the same. Yes, always. So let's switch into my ebook. So we're here now in my ebook German Grammar Explained Easily. Today's topic is the different modal verbs and we want to check out what they mean and when do we actually use them. So let's go to the table of content and let's jump right there. So let's start with müssen. Short overview just to the conjugation because modal verbs have irregular present tense conjugation in the first, second and third person usually. Modal verbs don't use endings at all in the first person and they always have the same form in the first and third person. So with all modal verbs, first and third person will be the exact same thing and usually without any ending. The second person here is kind of regular, but here we have to drop the dots actually, so there is no more dots, so the dots from müssen disappear here. But in the plural it's all regular. Simple past Präteritum is also regular. If you want to know more about Präteritum, I have a video about that linked for you in the info cards. Remember, Präteritum we pretty much use exclusively for modal verbs to be and to have if it comes to spoken language. So if you don't know that yet, please check it out. Let's have a look at the use of müssen. We use müssen as a necessity. So Julia muss in die Schule gehen. Julia has to go to school. Der Fußballspieler muss hart trainieren. So the football player has to train hard. There are no other possibilities here pretty much. That's what it means. It is equivalent to the English have to or also must. You can use müssen as a command or duty. Du musst jetzt dein Zimmer aufräumen. You have to clean up your room now. You must clean up your room now. Ihr müsst die Pizza essen. You must eat the pizza. You have to eat the pizza. We can also use müssen as an assumption. Pay attention, here we have to use this with Konjunktiv 2. If you don't know what Konjunktiv 2 is yet, please check out the video that I linked for you in the info cards. It's a special form of the verb which actually talks about wishes and also unreal things when we are not sure. So here an example, der Schal müsste Maria gehören. So here we are actually quite sure that the scarf actually belongs to Maria, so like 99% sure. So keep in mind, modal verbs can be used for probabilities and we can, depending on which modal verb we use, we can express different probabilities. You will see this with the next ones too, because with the next ones we will have a different chance to actually be right or have a different assessment. So we think with müssen is 99% we are correct. But let's check out later how this with the other ones. First, let's have a look at können here. Also, present tense is irregular in the singular, but again, first and third person are the same, no ending, but we change the vowel. And we do that here in the second person too. There's no rule why it's doing that. You have to know. Plural is regular. Präteritum is regular too. And we use können as a permission or prohibition. Du kannst hier nicht parken, so you cannot park here. It's forbidden. Unser Sohn kann heute Computer spielen. Our son, word by word, can play computer today, so I allowed him to play a computer. So if we have a negation like nicht in here, it's a prohibition. If there's no negation in there, it's a permission. And we also use können as a capability or inability. Du kannst schnell rennen, so you can run really fast. Sie kann nicht gut kochen. She doesn't know how to cook. So she cannot cook well, word by word. Ich kann Klavier spielen. I can play the piano. Meaning I do something well or not so well. We also use können as a possibility or impossibility. Du kannst nicht immer gewinnen. So you cannot win all the time. Menschen können nicht fliegen. Humans cannot fly. Max kann mit meinem Auto fahren. So Max can drive with my car. It's possible or impossible. And können has more use cases, so we can also use it as recommendation, also here often with the Konjunktiv 2. Wir könnten heute ins Kino gehen, so we could go to the cinema today. Ich kann dir helfen, so I can help you. Du könntest ihr ein Geschenk kaufen. You could buy her a present. It's pretty much here in those use cases the one-by-one translation from English to can. Also for polite requests with Konjunktiv 2 here again. Könntest du mir bitte helfen? Could you help me please? Könnte ich noch ein Bier haben? Could I have another beer? So it's just exactly the same like in English. Can is the regular version. Could is actually the version that is equivalent to the Konjunktiv 2 in German here. In English as well. And we can use können as a guess. Now we are back at the probabilities, and with können, different from müssen, we actually have a relatively small possibility that you are right. Wo ist deine Freundin? So where's your girlfriend? Ich weiß es nicht. Sie könnte bei einer Freundin sein. I don't know. She could be at a girlfriend's place. Yes, there's a mistake here. This S should be capital 1. I will change that right after the video. But now let's have a look at wollen, möchten. I combined them here because they both mean to want something. And in present tense, we have both versions. So ich will, du willst, er, sie, es will. Plural, everything regular, and möchten in present tense is ich möchte, du möchtest, er, sie, es möchte. Pay attention, here we add the extra E because it's the T here it ends, but it's a regular rule, all of them do that. But again, you see here first and third person are the same here in the simple past, so preteritum it's all regular, but see, we only have wollen because möchten is actually already a Konjunktiv 2 version of another verb, which you know already. And this verb is mögen. Mögen was formerly used as a modal verb too, but it's not anymore. But its Konjunktiv 2 version sticked to it as a modal verb. So möchten is simply the more polite version of wollen. But in the past, we can't be polite, just state facts that we wanted that. So that's why there is no past version of this. So mögen isn't a modal verb anymore. And if you're a beginner, I highly recommend you to not use mögen whatsoever, because mögen makes things very, very complicated. So unless you want to say stuff like ich mag dich, so I like you, use it. But if it's more than 3 words, just don't, because it will make stuff very, very complicated. If you like human beings, it works. For anything else, use other versions like gern or lieb. Works much, much better and easier for you. So this is wollen. And when do we use wollen? Same like to want something in English, like for a wish or intention. Ich will nach Deutschland umziehen, so I want to move to Germany. Also, we can use wollen to refuse something with a negation, obviously. Ich will nicht in die Schule gehen, so I don't want to go to school. And we can use wollen actually as a main verb if we combine it with a subordinate clause, with a Nebensatz. that usually starts with das. Ich will, dass ich das Geschirr, Max will, dass ich das Geschirr abwasche. So Max wants that I wash the dishes. So if we want something which is actually an action, which is usually that somebody else is doing something, that's when we actually use wollen as a main verb. So we are not referring directly to another verb, but if we want that somebody else is doing something, then this is the combination how we can use wollen. You do this in English as well, in the same way. Max wants that I wash the dishes. So the that is the das. It's the same thing. Ich will, dass du jetzt gehst. I want that you go right now. I want you to leave is another version in English, but word by word. I want that you go right now. Possible in English, although not the nicest way to say it, probably. And again, the difference between them is just möchten is the polite version. I have one more example here to make it more obvious. Papa, ich will ein Eis essen. This is very demanding. Compared to Papa, ich möchte ein Eis essen. This is much more polite. So it's more likely that you actually get your ice cream. So let's have a look at next one, which is dürfen. Dürfen is irregular in the first, second, and third person singular, but again, first and third person is the same, like all modal verbs, and you simply have to know that in preteritum it's regular again. So when do we use dürfen? As a permission. Wir dürfen eine Stunde Computer spielen. So we are allowed to play computer for 1 hour. So that allows us to do so. Er darf meinen Computer benutzen. So he is allowed to use my computer. Means I allowed him to do so. With a negation, it's a prohibition. Wir dürfen heute nicht Computer spielen. So that has not allowed it. We are not allowed to play computer. Er darf meinen Computer nicht benutzen. He is not allowed to use my computer. I do not allow it. And also, dürfen can also be used for a guess, so for the probability, again in combination with conjunctive. 2. With dürfen, we also have a relatively high chance that we are right. I would say about 80%. So müssen is about 99, so almost entirely correct. And here we have a high chance. So I would say like 70, 80%. Der Schal dürfte Maria gehören. So that's, for example, to the answer. To whom does this scarf belong? I believe that it belongs to Maria. This scarf should be Maria. It should belong to Maria, but should, I will show you later, is actually a lower chance in German, sollen. This is even higher than if I would say in English it should belong to Maria. Das Haus dürfte 30 Meter hoch sein, so the house should be 30 meters high. How high, how tall is the building? Believe estimated to be 30 meters tall. And dürfen can also be used to politely ask for permission. Darf ich Sie etwas fragen? Am I allowed to ask you something? This is very polite. Dürfte ich Sie etwas fragen? This is even more polite if you put it in conjunctive 2. So here, those are the two versions to ask something very, very polite. So let's have a look now at the last modal verb, which is sollen. Sollen is irregular in the first and second present tense. The same, both of them normal. And here, actually, second person, it's totally regular and also in preteritum in plural like verbs. And we use sollen to describe a duty, for example. Ich soll das Geschirr waschen. So I should wash the dishes in terms of it's my job or my mom told me to do so. Die Kinder sollen Hausaufgaben machen. So it means the children should do homework in terms of the teacher gave the children some homework assignment and they're supposed to do that right now. And we can also use sollen as a recommendation or advice. Usually we use it then in the conjunctive 2 version, which doesn't use the dots here. So conjunctive 2 here is actually same like a preteritum. Usually conjunctive 2 adds dots to the preteritum version. Sollen doesn't do it. So du solltest dein Zimmer besser aufräumen, which is a recommendation. You should better clean up your room. Maybe otherwise your parents will be upset. Sie sollten den Vertrag unterschreiben. So you should sign the contract. So I recommend you to sign the contract. And again, we can use it as an assumption, again with conjunctive 2. And here we also have a high probability that you are right. Der Schal sollte Maria gehören as an answer to to whom belongs the scarf? I'm pretty sure that it belongs to Maria. But again, dürfen has a higher chance than sollen. It should belong to Maria, but with a higher chance. Thomas sollte 18 Uhr nach Hause kommen as an answer to Thomas should be home at what time? I think Thomas is coming home at 6. So Thomas should come home at 6 o'clock. And the fourth and final use of sollen is as an indirect command. So somebody else has given the order or the command and you're reminding somebody of it. Du sollst den Müll rausbringen. So you should bring the garbage out. Here, probably my mom told me, hey, can you please bring the trash out? And now my brother is reminding me, hey, you're playing computer games the entire time. Mom told you to bring out the trash, so you should bring out the trash. It's a reminder to do something, and depending on how you actually pronounce this, it can be either a friendly reminder or a very harsh reminder. And I say indirect, so just for you in comparison, the direct command, bring den Müll raus, so imperative, so bring out the trash now. As a short summary here at the end, müssen is must or have to. We use it for a necessity, a command or duty, or an assumption with a very high probability that you're right. Können is more or less to can. We use it for permissions, prohibitions, possibilities, impossibilities, capabilities, and inabilities, and for assumptions with a low chance that you're right. Wollen, möchten is to want something, so for a wish, intention. We can also refuse things with it, and möchten is the polite version of wollen. Dürfen is also more or less to can, and it states whether something is allowed or forbidden. And we use it for assumptions, also with very high probability that you're right. And sollen is to shall or should, and express duties or commands, or an assumption with relatively high chance that you are right. Now you know all the secrets of German modal verbs. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to ask them in the comment section below. And if you like this video, if you learned a lot today, I really appreciate if you click on this thumbs up button and if you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. This is always a great support. And if you share this video with your friends, I'm even more grateful, and probably your friends too, because they will understand the German grammar better as well. Thank you very much for this in advance. If you like the video and if you like the ebook that you've just seen here, you will find a link to this ebook in the video description as well. It actually has another 10 friends hanging around. So all ebooks always explain everything in the easy to understand way that is coming from a student's point of view. That's why all my explanations seem to be so much easier than probably what your teacher was telling you so far. The link to all of those ebooks you will find below the video. And then I hope I will see you again in one of my other lessons. And until then, viel Spaß und Erfolg beim Deutschlernen.